Okay, thank you, Nugus, for joining in. Please, you can try help us send in a message to the subgroup that the class is back on. Thank you so much for joining in, Nugus. Okay, good evening once again to everyone. Thank you to our mentees that are able to rejoin in for the session. We kindly or sincerely apologize, or I sincerely apologize for that um, little mistake from my end. Thank you, Miss Shukurat, for joining in. You're welcome, Ma. It's nice having you again with us for today's class. We're in the third week of our mentorship program. Mr. Rikesh couldn't join in today, but he has said he will be joining us next week. So we'll just be taking our. Today we'll be having Miss Shukurat just give us a breakdown of our topic, and then we'll be having presentations from our mentees. Um, we do expect to have two presentation, so right, coming from the one we're supposed to have last week and that for this week. I can't see the group presenter on call. um I think she reached out to me saying that where she is currently raining, but we trust that one of the mentees that we currently have on call can still step in to make presentation. But before we have our mentees presentation, Ms. Shukuras, we would just like to hear from you a bit, or just for you to just help cover the scope of what we have for today's topic. Ma, you're welcome. Ma.
Hello everyone. Sorry about the anky panky with the deadlines, the timing, and this period that we are in. It's Ramadan period, so it's not so convenient for us, kind of. And I guess that's why Rakesh is not able to join yet. So today's topic is about patent drafting and the applications or the body of patents it is. So last week we talked about patent search, and because Rakesh was not able to join, I already said we'll discuss about it today. And last week, I think it was just one group that presented, if I'm right. And I think that was Lagos, if I'm right. So I'll suggest we have last week presentation and today's presentation. So we can take my presentation at the end of the class. So that will address everything or any mistake or correction in the presentation. I think that
All
should
right.
work.
All right.
So
Thank
we
you
don't
very
waste
much.
time.
All right, so please, we'll be taking the two presentation for last week and this week. Okay, on the patent group class, considering with that we don't have so much mentees on in the patent class, we actually have just one group for patents. But
Okay.
irrespective, we trust that they will still be able to make presentations. So please, if that is possible, Nugus, please, you can go ahead and start the presentation for last week while we also prepare for this week's presentation. Thank you. You can go ahead and start sharing your screen.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Um, I can see Mr. Rikesh has joined us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in. We sincerely apologize for the way the timing has been, but we are glad to have you in session, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm
Yes,
glad to be here.
yes, sir. So we'll be having presentations from our mentees. After their presentation, then we'll be hearing from both you and Ms. Shukurat as you could give us your discourse on today's topic. Thank you, sir.
Shall I begin?
Okay, Nigus, we can hear you. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay. If I'm not audible, you can try to stop me, but I'll begin now.
Please, can you speak out like more loud so that we can hear you? You are not very audible.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll begin. Uh, this presentation will be last week's presentation, but it was not to be done by me. It was to be done by another member. I think they are not present, but I will begin. Our topic was patent strategy, patent search, and legal requirements for patentability. So patent strategy and search, those two are critical components of the intellectual property landscape, uh, particularly for individuals, companies, and organizations that are seeking to protect their inventions and innovations. And we have major objectives of patents, and all criteria or all steps are that are laid by the law. They have to be made. That we will see them accordingly. So patent strategy and patent search, they have their own differences, and they also have their own similarity. But patent strategy, they are steps. They are steps that businesses or companies or organizations take to protect and place their inventions and intellectual property in the relevant technology fields. But patent search, uh, it's different from patent strategy in a way that uh, it plays a crucial role in assessing the patentability of an invention, identifying existing patents, and it also has a huge contribution regarding the pursuit of patent protection. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll continue. So patent strategy has three steps. The first step will be basic patent management strategies. These include legal privilege, invent around, licensing, collaborate with customers, developers of complements, competitors, governments, and foundations. This is also called defensive patenting strategies. Then when we move to patent management, it will take us to advanced or strategic patent management strategies. It's the next step we follow. It's also known as offensive patenting strategies. In this, we have we exercise market power. We sell, we sell our patent. We license out our patent. We cross-license our patent. We donate our patent. We signal in disclosure our patent, and also we ensure our intellectual property. Then, as a last step, we value our creation. It's an increased value. It's different from the two earlier steps that firm's value in performance is given place here. Uh, the other thing we have to note about patent strategy is we have offensive patenting and defensive patenting. As I have said earlier, the first one I called it defensive patenting strategies, while the second one was offensive patenting strategies. And those things I explained around in here are what makes them different and what signifies them, what makes them unique. So patent strategy or business strategy. First, we have to conduct an analysis of business objectives, market position, and competition. And as a second step, we identify key areas of innovation and technological advantage. We develop patent strategy to protect and leverage our intellectual property assets in strategic areas. We also regularly evaluate and adjust patent strategy to align with evolving business priorities. This is with regards to evolution. So when we move to patent search, we was talking about patent strategy earlier, but this is about patent search. It's different in that to determine whether an invention can be patentable or not, we use the mechanism of patent search, and that makes it different from patent strategy. We find previous art that can have an impact on patentability. This example could be mentioned from our last week's class about the chair, what makes a chair different. That example we saw is about patent search, and we decide whether to file for patents. Inventors and patent professionals can benefit from doing a comprehensive patent search, because from doing such a search, we can know beforehand if our invention is patentable or not. So the first step in patent search is prior art. Prior art is information that is available before a patent application's filing date, as I have earlier said. And we have advanced techniques in patent reporting, and one of the advanced techniques is implementing semantic search techniques using natural language processing, or also known as NLP algorithms, to understand context and meaning within patent documents. We also use machine learning and AI algorithms to analyze large volumes of patent data and identify relevant patterns or trends, because as we know, there are a lot of inventions that take place, and to look into all those inventions is very hard in our patent search. So what we could do is to make use of machine learning and AI, and with that usage, we can make a great progress in our patent search. We could also incorporate image and object recognition technologies to search for patents based on visual content. An example for this could be using an image that is similar to our invention, and whether in checking whether it could be patentable or not based on similarities and differences of our invention with earlier inventions. Patent search has importance. It helps us in identifying existing patents and potential infringement risks. I will try to be fast as our slide is a lot. I'm audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so elements for patent search are keyword and assignee, owner competitive landscape. We have inventors. An example for this could be after finding a research article, classification, references cited, referenced by, and patent number. And strategies for navigating global patent search. This is not local, but rather a global patent search. First, you have to know your market. You have to know your place of search. You have to evaluate your freedom to operate. You have to draft your patent application. You have to file that patent application and monitor and enforce your patent rights. And when we look at the legal requirements for patentability, first you have to understand the specific legal requirements for patent applications, because different countries follow different legal requirements for patentability. So it's better to know the existing legal system in the country you file your patent application at, and this is one of the legal requirements. The next step could be the international patent landscape. I'll only mention one country, and I will pass the other two. So in the case of Ethiopia, to apply for a patent in Ethiopia, first the application must include a front page, and in that front page we have the inventor's name, the title of the invention, abstract and diagrams, and the description should cover the technical field, the prior art, objective of the invention, the detailed description. In the front page we have just a short description, but the detailed description is found in the middle part, the advantages and application of the invention. The claim section is a third section. It should clearly define the protection sought in terms of technical features that pertain to product or process, that are numbered consecutively and use consistent technical terminology. And chemical or mathematical formulas may be included in the claims, but in drawings we don't use such formulas. And we have patent fees in our country, and as you can see this list, we make payments for patent application, and after we have filed the patent application, if we need to correct that application, we also make fees, and we have also such other fees. And the patent requirements in Kenya are also covered. So I'll move to patent enforcement and litigation. So patent infringement has two types, direct and indirect. Under direct infringement, we have literal and equivalence, while under indirect, we have induced and contributory infringement. And patent enforcement has importances. First, our intellectual property rights will be protected. Infringement will be deterred because if a patent is enforced, then it will not be easily copied, and that will protect our patent rights. We can also preserve market exclusivity. That is, any other person cannot use our invention to enter into the market, and they will be excluded. And this is also an importance of patent enforcement. Patent litigation is the legal process, as the name indicates. It unfolds when someone who owns a patent for a particular invention enforces their right by suing another for manufacturing or selling the invention without permission. Patent litigation simply relates to patent infringement of one's patent right by another person who doesn't have that right. And we have emerging technologies. As the name indicates, emerging technologies are technologies that are coming lately. It refers to combination of new technologies and old technologies, and these undergo continuous development, and their potentials are not fully harnessed. These include AI, blockchain, the IoT, the quantum computing, the cloud technology, robotics, and a lot of scientific inventions nowadays are emerging technologies. And the challenge in emerging technologies are the complexity of the patent process, because since it's coming lately, we don't have the latest process to follow in patenting those technologies, and also the cost that's covered is a lot. And we have a long and an uncertain procedure because these technologies are frequently changing, and they have a short life shelf because they are easily changeable, as I have earlier said. And lastly, the opportunities. We saw the challenge, and the opportunities are competitive market age, legal protection and enforcement of patent rights, and also international expansion in global market reach. In conclusion, navigating strategic patent search in legal requirements, it requires a comprehensive or an overall a general understanding of the unique challenges and opportunities in the region. We not only have to focus on the challenge, but also on the opportunities in patent enforcement, patent litigation, and also on the legal requirements. And this concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Nobles, for helping us run through the presentation for last week. Okay, can we have the presentation for this week so that we can just hear from our mentors and see what they have to share? Thank you. Okay, is someone speaking? Please, we're waiting for the presentation for this week, please. If that's possible, I will be, if I don't mind helping with the slides. So can we have presentation for this week?
Shall I start? I can quickly give you overview of last week presentation, and then I will start for today's session also.
Okay, sir. We were trying to have our mentees do the presentation for this week also before we hear from you, sir.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. So please, mentees, let's have our presentation so that Mr. Rakesh is already ready to take us through an overview of last week's topic and this week's topic, saying that he wasn't available last week. Okay, no one is making the presentation for this week.
think Amadi is the one who's still present. Can you contact him?
Okay, Mr. Madi, are you with us? I don't know. It seems
He said yes.
we can't. I don't think I can hear him. Mr. Madi, can you hear us? Your voice is not coming out.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay. Can you help me share the screen?
All right, I'll do
Okay.
that now. I will do that.
Okay.
Don't worry, Nicholas. I'll share the screen. Yes, please, you can go ahead. This screen is currently being shared.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. My name is Chigos Mamadi. I'll be talking on PCT process and a patent drafting course on patent process and advantages. I don't know if you can share the next slide.
Okay.
Basically, what PCT is all about is Patent Cooperation Treaty, which is where one or two countries come together and have an agreement that certain applications will take place in their country when it comes to patent drafting or acquiring patent rights. So patent cooperation treaty streamlines the global patent application process and enhancing efficiency and cost effectiveness for investors and business worldwide. Next screen, next screen. The history of this PCT, Patent Cooperation Treaty, started way back in 1966, whereby a group of companies came together and decided to find out solutions in order to reduce duplication efforts in patent applications. This Patent Cooperation Treaty has well over 150 member countries, including major industrialized nations such as China and India. And this Patent Cooperation Treaty has become a vital tool for inventors and business aiming to safeguard their intellectual property worldwide. Next slide, please. The process for patents, this Patent Cooperation Treaty, in its bid to make patent application easy for patentees, it has brought out a streamlined process for filing an international application for all the countries that are part of this uh, Patent Cooperation Treaty. Number one, Patent Cooperation Treaty allows filing international applications by nationals or residents of contracting states with national offices or the International Bureau. So basically, what they're trying to say is that all the countries which they refer to as states here that have decided that Patent Cooperation Treaty and whatever it entails will apply in their country. Any intending inventor who has invented something can as well follow the processes for patent application as 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 it has been adopted by the host country from this their Patent Cooperation Treaty agreement. Next slide, please. Next slide. So this PCT procedure comprises the international phase with steps including filing, search reports, establishment, international publication, and optional preliminary examination. Next slide. There are a whole lot of advantages that comes with adopting this system, this patent cooperation treaty system for patent offices. So patent offices utilizing this manpower to handle the increasing number of patent applications and provide technical advisory services to local industries. This patent cooperation treaty assists in meeting the demands by handling more applications as those submitted via the patent cooperation treaty have already been verified for compliance with formal requirements during the international phase. Patent offices can reduce their publishing costs by publishing international applications in their official language or by publishing a translation of their abstracts with full copies available upon request. Next slide, please. Next slide. So we can save time. Next slide. Next slide. So applicants can file their patent applications in their own country with the regional or international office, allowing them more time to decide on foreign countries and less money less money spent before a granted patent. So basically, this uh, this PCT, this Patent Cooperation Treaty, they have an office in all the countries that have decided that they are going to adopt the processes as stated in this Patent Cooperation Treaty. So any intending patentee can go there and make an application, and they have is like a complete house, a complete office is where you can decide that you want to obtain patent from this country, from that country, from this country. If you want if you intend that your invention is that which is going to have a global impact. So that which is one of the reasons why this patent cooperation treaty system was formulated. So applicants can file their patent application in their own country or with the appropriate regional or international office, allowing them more time to decide on foreign countries and less money to be granted on patents. So basically, you get to spend less in a more organized system that can grant you patents in more than one country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amadi, for stepping in on behalf of your group to make this week's presentation. For some reason, the group presenter and some other members of the group are not currently able to join in. But we still, since seeing that the session itself is being recorded, we'll make sure to have them watch or ensure that they follow through on YouTube so that they can catch up with everything that is being said in this session. So thank you again to Mr. Nugus and to Mr. Amadi for stepping in to make the presentation. Please, we'd like to now hear from our mentors. I think Mr. Rakesh, you can go first. We'd like to hear from you on the topic for today. We will also like to hear an overview from last week's topic, considering that you were not able to make it for last week's session due to some network issues. So, sir, please, we'd like to hear from you. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks, Dennis. And first of all, I would like to thanks Amadi for giving the overview on PCT application. And I would like to highlight two important aspects from the PCT, first of all, before I should start. The first one is whenever I used to interview any candidate, we ask one very basic question that can a PCT application be granted or it always remains as a application? So this is what we need to understand. PCT application always remains the application. It never gets granted. And as you mentioned in one of your second or third slide, we filed the PCT application for global protection. There is no such term as a global protection because when PCT application are not getting granted, so it is not providing us any kind of protection on patent claims globally. So it is just helping us in buying a time window to enter into different countries based on the research we are doing or research of your idea undergoing. So this is very basic difference we must need to understand. And starting with my last week's topic first, this was related to IP strategy. I'm sharing my screen, just let me know once it is up.
Yes, sir, your screen is up, sir.
Okay. So the last week's topic was related to IP strategy, and today's topic is the parts of patent application and how one should draft it, right?
Yeah.
So for patent strategy, every stage, like our strategy has to be different depending on the stage we are dealing with. So for patent, I would say there are different services or different stages or different type of projects are involved. So for each and every type of project, your strategy should be different. Like we can talk about the patentability. What should be the strategy? It should be the focus should be only on the prior art to find out the prior art globally, so that there should not be any roadblocks when we are going to file a patent. Drafting strategy is also like where either we want to have the broad claim or the narrow claims depending on the type of technology or innovation we have. Filing, again, it's the strategy which country we want to proceed with, be it the Africa, Ethiopia, or the China, US, India, depending on the market scenarios. The same are the conditions or strategies we need to follow for licensing, freedom to operate, or patent landscape. So this is altogether a different case study we needed for each and every services. I am just giving you a bird's eye overview that how our strategies should be and how it varies for each and every stage or project type. So this is patent anatomy. I will touch upon this in my next session, but now coming to the strategy point, this is the reference I took from the WIPO drafting manual, but it is conveying the whole crux of the training in one line only, and that I have underlined. If you can read it, the ideal strategy for a patent is like the claims should be narrower than the prior art, but it should be broader than the competing products. And if you remember only this one line for protecting your invention, you will be able to succeed without any major hurdles or setbacks, because this is explaining the entire story only in one sentence. Your claim should be narrower than the prior art, then it would not get rejected by the examiner, and it should be broader than the competing products, so that there should be potential infringers who would pay you the royalty or licensing amount. So you should have to make a balance between these two. So this is in one line. The I can sum up the entire training about the IP strategy, especially for one particular patent. So it is always about maintaining a balance, because if the claims are too broader, it will get rejected by the prior art. But if claims are too narrow, there would be design around possibilities and you will not get any infringer, and ultimately you will lose the licensing or royalty fee. Coming to the next slide. So before jumping to the IP strategies, we must have to understand how the patents are used. Suppose you have got the patent, but if you are not familiar or aware about the usage of those patents, then you cannot formulate a strategy out of it. So basically, I have just noted down these bullet points that how a patents can be used. So it could be used for protecting the products and processes, especially for blocking others. And ultimately, because strategy and patents, research and innovation, everything is happening only for numbers in terms of running the business, increasing turnover and profits. Again, for new innovation, for setting the new segments of the business, it is always helpful for attracting investors. Licensing and cross licensing are always important part, because the patents ultimate objective is for every business is to generate the revenue. So again, licensing and cross licensing are the most important and strongest pillars where we can use the patents for generating the revenue. Blocking competitors is other, as earlier one has demonstrated that defensive publication is also one strategy for blocking competitors, where we do not want to generate revenue but we want to block competitors. We will adopt the strategy of defensive publication. And by having a strong patent portfolio, it builds a reputation also in the market. So these are the potential uses, and based on these usage, we can develop and protect our IP. Accordingly, these strategies we can follow. That if you are having very broader set of claims or the portfolio, then you can monopolize the technology. Although this particular activity is government's intention is to avoid monopoly of any single player, but companies tend to establish the monopoly or the dominance in the market by having more and more broader and wide access of one technology domain. Another is like managing the IP filing strategy. So suppose for the electronics, if manufacturing is more in China and US as compared to Europe or Africa, then your strategy of managing the filing should align with the business requirement. It should not be only maintained or limited to your specific jurisdictions, but it should be aligned always with the business requirement or business goals. So you should have to decide the territories where you should have to protect the patents, because then in those territories only the chances of infringement and licensing would be higher. And again, the third one is enhancing the status of the technology. So whenever you are getting the technology or you are licensing it, you can develop the complementary technologies. You can create the portfolio of related patents in the IP. Suppose for one particular technology, if you might have seen, either the Apple or Google are there. So their entire portfolio is always revolving around the either the phones or the MacBook. And this is what they are trying to create the portfolios. So this is, we can say, the developing and protecting the IP. These strategies you should adopt to get the maximum benefit out of it. Again, in line with the strategy itself. So this is monopoly I have already discussed. So for creating the monopoly, what you need to understand, you can change your strategy based on the strategy of the competitors. So you must have to understand the landscape of the competitors as well as the landscape of the market. And whenever you are doing something, you need to ensure the freedom to operate both ways. Like if you are about to launch a product, then also you need a clearance search. And if there are new products and they might have conducted freedom to operate, but to ensure that whether uh, that any foreign product is infringing your patents, then you must have to check it from the infringer's perspective also. And if there is any potential infringer, you must have to polish it to generate the revenue out of it. Any questions so far? Anyone? Otherwise, these things are related to same, like managing the competitors. Like you can, if you are having such some ideas which you do not want to generate revenue for, or do you feel these are the generic ideas, I would not be able to license out or generate some patents, so you can go for the defensive patents to block the others. Securing finance is other IP portfolio to attract investment. If you are having a strong IP portfolio, it is also intangible assets and provide you the investment fundings, and you can lay up the foundation for your future goals. So these are few, I would say, the IP strategies which any business can adopt to develop a competitive advantage in the market. So these are all related to commercialization. Like for evaluating IP, you must have to understand the legal status, whether these patents are active, alive, or expired, technology domain, then market conditions. Based on these three broader parameters, you can evaluate the value of IP. Then licensing I had discussed. Licensing is nothing but selling the rights of the patent to the infringers, or for further development, if some competitors are there who are willing to use your technology, then you can license it out. So benefits I have already told. This is helping you creating new source of revenue because licensor will get a huge amount of royalty. You might have been aware about all the 5G spectrum or Ericsson patents. Nokia is also one of the good examples. They are generating huge amount of money because of their patent portfolio only. And it will influence the market acceptance for technology and products. And Huawei, the tech giant in this electronics mobile communication line, Huawei from China is the highest filer in 2024 also, 2023, sorry. So they are all generating either from their products or from their licensing fee. And for licensee also, they will they will be paying, but in exchange to paying the licensing fee, they will get some technologies to work upon, and it will help them in developing new technologies. Any questions related to this IP strategy? I have just given you very brief overview quickly. Any questions?
Do our mentees have any questions so far? Um,
Otherwise, yeah,
or
please.
maybe we'll just have them ask questions during after your presentation during the question and answer
Okay,
session. All right, thank
okay.
you, sir.
So I'm jumping to, thanks Dennis for the update. So now from the IP strategy, I am jumping to the parts of patent application, and we can discuss how all these different parts of the patent application should be drafted so that we can get value in terms of what we discussed in IP strategy. So this what we call parts of patent application is nothing but the anatomy of a patent. So there are two different examples I can quickly show. So basically, this is the first page of a patent application. It includes title, inventor name, and other bibliographic details. These are just brief enough, but if you want to see, these are so much details, and every page, every single detail given on this first page has some significance, and these has been marked by these numbers. We call it INID codes, internationally agreed numbers. You can see 12, 54, 76, and then star 21 brackets. So these are all the INID codes. This is specific example of a US patent. So do not get confused that every patent will look like the same way, but this is a specific example of a patent published by the USPTO. This is patent number, country which it belongs to, every detail, like, but I am not going to talk about each and every point here, but I will share this slide with you so that you can refer to each and every detail given in this. And if still you have any questions, feel free to ask anytime. And all these details, we call it bibliographic details, which include the title at number 54, picture-based video indexing system, inventor names, and applicant name sometimes mentioned here, but here it is not given, and abstract, which is the paraphrasing of the independent claim, which includes and talks about all the novel aspects of the invention, and representative drawing, which is aligned with the novel aspects of the invention. So this is bibliographic page. Jumping back to the next slide. So actually, a patent, parts of patent includes these elements, which is title. Apart from the bibliographic details, it includes title, technical field, background, summary, drawings, description of drawings, claims, and abstract. And out of all these things, the most important part is this one, because claims are like the brain of a human, or you can say the heart, which is you can consider the most critical or important part. So everything will be revolving around claims only. So now I am just quickly giving you overview that talking about the title, just like we used to read in the newspaper, whatever we see the breaking news, it conveys something. So if the breaking news or any title, if it is written in a very vague manner, then it won't convey anything. So for the patent itself, the title should be concise, clear, and specific. Like the similar example I have given now, it should be very clear. If you might have seen here, it is very clear title, picture-based video indexing system. So it should not be that much lengthy or that much short that one cannot understand or interpret it. So from technical field, we jump to the technical field. So technical field in itself just give the indication of the subject matter with in which domain it belongs to. So technical field is just giving us an indication that, okay, this particular patent is related to this technological field, be it is related to electronics domain, and in electronics itself, if it is related to the chip circuits, memory design, or communication side, or processor circuitry, or digital signals, image processing, anything. So that technical field should convey. Now jumping to the next section, it is background. So always remain aware about two most important things about background. It is talking always about problem. Just remember or make a note of it. Background will always talk about the problems and it will never talk about solution. If you are writing everything in the background, solution itself, then whenever examiner will be examining it, it will cite your background also by saying that all the solution or the novel aspects you have written in the background, because background is just a focusing on the existing problem. So if you're writing your solutions in the background, it will be treated as existing solution or existing problem. Then it will become more difficult for you to get a patent on the solution. So whenever you're writing a background, it should be short and precise. It should not be conveying so many details, because every time we used to say that loose lips sink the ships. So whenever you are writing a very narrow or very lengthy background, the chances of leaking out the novel aspects in the background becomes higher. So whenever you're writing the background, talk about the problem along with all these questions: what, which, why, where, who, when, all technical aspects, not human related aspects like who I have said. So it should be ended up or concluded with some kind of indicating line that there should be some solution to eradicate these existing problems. So you just set up a stage by starting the problem, highlight all the issues anyone face with such problem, and conclude it with the lines that there should be some technical problem solution to eradicate this technical problem. So it should be technical. It should not be revolving around non-technical aspects, first of all. Then summary part is you wherever you are ending up in the background part, I would say. So you can connect the dots from the background to summary. Sorry. So summary is nothing but you will highlight all the solution as well as the technical advantages, and it is nothing but the mirror out of claims. I will discuss about it more in the claim section. So whatever problem you have highlighted in the background, immediately from the background section, the patent application is written in such a manner that summary section comes up. So you have to highlight, connect the dots from the problem you have highlighted, and immediately you have to specify the solution part in the summary along with all the technical advantages as well as different embodiments. Embodiments are nothing but different ways of doing something, or different aspects for achieving the same objective. So you should cover it in all possible manners. So coming to the drawings part. So drawings are to convey your invention in the easiest manner so that any person who is having ordinary skill in the art should be able to understand it and enable to understand and interpret it clearly. It should be as detailed as possible. It should not be having some gray areas. One should have to speculate or imagine something, but it should be conveying everything very clearly. So whenever you are writing about the drawings part, specify each and every component, how these are interconnected with other components, and specify functioning of each and every element. So in the drawings, you have to write down, see in the drawings, everything should be visible in that manner, not only in one particular drawing, but you can file or have n number of multiple drawings. And in detailed description, this section, you have to write down each and every aspect of every single component which is being displayed in the drawings, especially the components which are having novel aspects or which are performing some novel features of the invention. So whenever you are writing the detailed description, again, ask all these questions to yourself and consider yourself not as a human but as a machine which will be asking these many questions and getting in return the technical responses. Then you should be able to write it from the machine's perspective. Many times what we have seen, uh, the biggest mistake, people tend to understand everything very clearly, but they keep on writing it from human perspective. So never do that. Whenever you are writing, write it from machine's perspective, because you are trying to solve a technical problem. So technical problem should be aligned with or processed with the machines itself, not by humans. Because if something is having human intervention, the chances of getting the patent become slightly lesser, and your potential infringer would be the end user. So infringement and again the licensing cost or chances of licensing also get declined. So keep that point in your mind. Last two aspects are very basic, and the most important is the claims. So claims are nothing but the defining the boundaries of the invention as per the law, and these are nothing but the landmines you are laying out in your territory. So you want the maximum coverage, or we can say that these are uh, just kind of fencing we try to say, but we want to capture more and more infringers into this boundary. So it's like a fishing net. We want to spread it across the ocean so that we can capture maximum infringers who are getting entrapped into this fishing net. Fishing net is nothing but the scope of the claims. So it should not be narrow. As I have started, it is a balance between two. It should be narrow enough to avoid the prior art, but it should be broad enough to capture the potential infringing products. So claims, everything should be revolving around claims, whatever we have discussed above. Every term we are writing in the claims should be defined in the detailed description and should be visible in the drawings. And all the claims will be having a paraphrasing in the summary section, and no element of the claims should be written in the background section. And last, it is about the abstract. So it is nothing but the technical summary of the invention. So this is all about the different parts of a patent application, along with the significance and what you have to do and what you don't, or I have just explained you both. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I am done, Dennis.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rikesh. Um, I think we'll be having questions and answers later on. But for now, we would like to hear from Ms. Amusa as on your own discourse for today's topic. Ms. Amusa, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Do I still need to say anything? I think Rakesh has he has done justice to the presentation and all. Hi Rakesh, how you doing?
Hi, Musa. How are you doing?
I think you are done. You've done justice to the whole work for today.
No,
So
I just try to touch upon the basics actually. If we
yeah,
want detailed, I would be happy
you've
to.
you've done well. You've done well. I
Thanks.
think I have just few things to say. So let me just share my screen. I have just few things anyway. Can you see my slide? Can you see now?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
Okay, that's fine. So like I said, I don't have much to say. I mean, Rakesh has taken us through everything. So I'll start with, let's see. Okay, introduction. So today's topic is actually patent search strategy, patent drafting, and parts of a patent application, if I'm right. So last week we talked about patent search. So I'm just going to come again, just like Rakesh did. So you want to have in the back of your mind that when you want to file a patent application or you want to acquire a patent, it's not that cheap, right? It's kind of expensive, to be sincere. So because you don't want to waste your money, you want to do your due diligence before you actually file for a patent application, you want to make sure that you carry out a patent search to be able to know at least. It's not a straightforward tell you, okay, yes, it's patentable or it's not patentable, but at least it can guide you and let you know what is close to what you are doing and how you can, work on it or work around it and come up with a better invention and draft it properly. So it is advisable to carry out a patent search. So now, what exactly is a patent search? We said the patent search is the process of searching and identifying existing patents related to an inventive idea. Now, you want to carry out a patent search, you need to understand what type of search you are actually trying to carry out. Because we have the prior art search, which is also the patentability search. We have the invalidity search. We have the freedom to operate search. We have evidence of use search, and we have state-of-the-art search. So which of these are you exactly trying to do? So let's say, for example, you just want to draft a patent application and you want to file an application. You are just looking at a patentability search. You want to see if there is no prior act which is likely to invalidate your patent. So what you will do in that instance is a prior act / patentability search. In an instance whereby you have a competitor who has been granted a patent for a particular invention, but you are trying to invalidate that patent, you want to make sure that probably, okay, for example, the issue with the Puma and the Puma design, whereby Puma's design patent was invalidated. So what happened was Puma had already filed a patent application. In fact, I think they were about to grant the patent application when his competitor came up and said, no, you can't grant a design patent for this because the design is already in the public domain. I mean, it's already in the public, like someone has already put it out there, it has been disclosed. So due to disclosure, they had to invalidate that patent. So if you are doing an invalidity search, you won't do the same, or you won't go through the same process for patentability. You have to find a way to invalidate that patent. So you do an invalidity search. If you are trying to see where can I operate without infringing on somebody's patent, then you want to do a freedom to operate search. So all of these searches depend, just like your strategy that Rakesh mentioned. What strategy are you actually trying to use? Are you using a patentability search strategy or an invalidity search strategy? So you want to know what exactly you are focused on. So don't try and say you want to do a patentability search strategy and you're trying to do a freedom to operate search strategy. So you need to know where exactly your focus is. So that's why we have these types of patent search. You know which type of patent search you want to do. So evidence of use search, let's assume somebody has been granted a patent for about 5 years and the person is not working the invention. And you're like, okay, I want to have a right to, probably use this invention. Since this person is not using it, you might want to do a search of evidence of use to show that, okay, maybe this person is using it or not. Then instead of the art search, you want to look at which technology or which industry is this person actually doing their invention around. Then we'll talk about the patent search strategy now. So you want to do a patent search. What do you need to do? Do you just go ahead and just start searching whatever? You don't just go ahead and start searching whatever. So patent search can be done in various ways and using different available online tools. However, the best way to carry out a patent search is, number one, you need to brainstorm your keywords. So let's say, for example, you want to do a patent search on probably maybe a phone or a pen. You want to make sure that you are using keywords that are general. Don't type in pen, because you're going to get so many patent applications on pen. Or don't type in a writing material. You want to type in the essential element of that invention. So it gives you a narrow kind of search instead of a very broad search. Instead of getting like 1,000 searches, you might narrow it down to maybe 500 or 600 or 300 by using your keywords. So you brainstorm keywords. So brainstorming keywords describing the invention helps you to narrow down the search, thereby avoiding overly broad and generic term. The next thing you want to do is you want to look at the classes and subclasses lookup. So just like we have trademark classes, we also have classifications in patents under the Stramberg Agreement. So we have, I really can't remember those things now, but we have A1, A2, blah, blah, blah. When you check a patent application, you'll see at the end of the, if it's a US patent, they'll give you a number, and at the end, you'll see maybe A3 or F5 or F9. Those things are the classification. So when you look at maybe A3 might be under agriculture or technology or this or that. So they also have classification. So you might use this classification to probably do your searches to like also narrow out your search. So this search involves setting relevant application using the patent classification system, as this system helps you to organize patents hierarchically and also help locate patents for the type of invention regardless of the terminology used in that patent. Another thing you might want to do is like searching patents and published application database. So most times some applications might not be patented, but they can invalidate or they can act as prior act. So you don't want to search only patented material. You might want to search journals or publications that have been published but that are not patented. So some search websites such as the USPTO maintains 2 different online databases. Even Google Patents does that. They have the database for issued patents and database of published patent application. Also, you might also check one for journals that are not patent as well. So you are able to, search broadly. You're able to narrow your search and you don't have too many search results for something that is not necessary. So now another question is, why do you want to conduct a patent search? You may think your invention is original. Like whenever we come, we're like, I've come up with a new idea. It's original to me. But the truth is, nobody is an atom of knowledge, or why they say that thing. So what you are thinking, somebody is also thinking about it, right? So the best thing for you is to do a patent search, and this will help you to, improve the quality of any patent application that is written concerning the said invention. It prevents expenditure of money and patent application for invention that are patentable. It saves time investing unnecessary money into an invention just to learn it already exists. Imagine when you spend so much money on an invention, by the time you carry out patent search, you now realize that somebody has already done the same thing you are doing. It means waste of money, right? You have to start something new. So it also helps you to determine the probability of an invention receiving a patent. Like I said, it's not a straightforward determinant that say, oh, you get application or not, but you can get probability. Maybe, okay, I'll have maybe like 60% probability of getting the patent with this patent prior art set I have done. So it also helps you to understand the technology landscape, thereby ensuring that one's claim doesn't navigate around existing patents. Now, where do you conduct the patent search? You've understood what patent search is, you understand why you need it, and you understand how to carry out this patent search. So the question now is, where do you carry out patent search? So there are different databases online. Some are free, some are paid, and there are some that you can't even access at all. So, but these ones I've listed here, they are accessible, like the USPTO, the ExpertNet, the Patent Scope, the Google Patents, Patent Lens, and so on and so forth. All of these websites, you can carry out a patent application, your patent search on it. Unfortunately, the Nigerian patent database is not available for the public, so you can't do a patent search yourself except you go to the patent registry and you pay for a patent search. They will do a search for you and they will get back to you on the result. So let's talk about the structure of a patent application. Rakesh has done all of this already. So now you've done your patent search. You've realized that, okay, fine. You've seen the prior acts that you see and also similar to your patent application, and you want to carry on with your application. What do you need to look out for? So application determines the legal scope of the patent protection, and it follows a similar structure. So you can either decide to patent nationally, regionally, or internationally. So nationally is when you are filing a patent application in one jurisdiction, your jurisdiction where you are based in. Regionally is you are looking at different countries, but you are using just one body to file the application, but it's just regional. It doesn't extend international. But internationally is where you now have multiple countries where you can just select to file a patent application. Now, just like Rakesh said, there's nothing like a global patent. It's an international route that allows you to file patent application in multiple countries at the same time. And this is where the PCT comes in. When you have the regional route, it allows you to file patent application in also different countries, but not as much as what is allowed in the international route, because regional is just limited to maybe Africa or the Francophone countries or the EU, just like that. Why national is you want to file independently in each country. So if I want to file patent application in, let's say, 10 countries, maybe 3 African countries, and let's say about 7 international countries. So will it be profitable for me to file nationally? Like I go to Nigeria, I file. I go to Ghana, I file. Or I find someone in Ghana to file for me. I find someone in Nigeria, and I'm filing it 1-1-1-1-1-1. Will it be profitable when I have the regional routes where I can go through the OAPI or the ARIPO to file regionally? Or better still, I can go through international route, because if I'm going through regional routes, I won't be able to designate those international countries. It means I'm only going to use the regional route to designate the African countries who are members of that regional route. Then I still have to go through the international route. So why don't I just go through the international route where I have most of these African countries under the who are members of the PCT, and probably designate those 10 countries I want to file in. So that's just the route to file in. I know PCT gives you some benefit as well. You can claim priority. If you have filed in one country before, you can claim priority as long as it is 12 months and before you file that 12-month period to file. So what are the structure of patent application? Now you need a request. There's something called a request form. That request form is what you fill. It gives you the details it asks you the owner, your name, your address, and who owns it, what's the title of the invention, and so on and so forth. So this is the request form. So the application itself now entails the description, the claims, the drawing, the abstract, just like Rakesh has mentioned. And this will now talk about the checklist for patent application. So you have this. I know Rakesh showed us a sample of patent application, and I have one here, but it might not be very clear. So you have the title of the invention, you have the field of the invention, you have the background of the invention, you have the summary, you have your abstract, brief description of the drawing, if there's drawing, you have detailed description, you have the drawing itself, and you have the claims. So the title of the invention will carry maybe a method of producing blah, 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 or a device for doing this and that. That's the title. Now, the field of the invention, around what technology is this invention looking at? Is it the chemistry field, or this invention relates to the field of blah, 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 blah. Now, the background of the invention. You want to give a brief explanation of what this invention is about. So under this background of the invention is normally called description, is broadly termed description. So under description is where you have your background, your summary, brief description, detailed description, and so on and so forth. So you now have your background of the invention. You give a background of what the invention is about. Then you talk about the prior act, what has been existing before, what technology gap is in that prior act that makes your own invention better, or what invention is your own, what problem is your own invention trying to solve. So you mentioned all of this in the background of the invention. Then under the summary of invention, you just give a summary of whatever it is you are trying to do. Then the abstract will give more like a summary as well. Then brief description of drawing. If you have drawings, you give the description of the drawings that, okay, this is what this is what that is. Now, the detailed description. If you have your brief description, you see most times you have, they normally label it, maybe the parts of the drawing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in your detailed description, you now say, how does 1 connect to 2? How does 2 connect to 3? How does 3 connect to 4? You give a detailed description of that drawing such that if somebody even read the drawing alone and a detailed description, you are able to understand what the invention is about, even you without reading the main document itself. Then your drawings, you put in all the views of the drawings, your front view, your back view, the perspective view, the rear view, everything, just put everything. Then your claims, which is like the art of the application. You don't want your claim to be too broad and you don't want it to be too narrow. So you have to make sure that whatever it is you are trying to mention in your claim is also in the body of your invention, because you can't claim what is not in the body of that invention. So now you want to file a patent application. Okay, we've discussed this already, and the national, regional, and the international route. So this is a sample of a request form. Like I said, you might not really see this. Let me try and see if I can make it bold. I don't think so. It's so this is what we use in NoTap anyway. So NoTap, you can either file with NoTap or you file with the patent registry. So this will ask you your name, the name of the invention. In some instances whereby you are working with a company or your employee, you are working as an employee under somebody, it's going to ask you the name of the company, because like we know, as an employer, or sorry, as an employee, your employer owns whatever invention you've created, depending on the agreement you have in your employment contract. So it's going to ask you all of these questions. This is what a request form looks like. Then in the next slide, I'll show you an example of a granted patent application, something like this. And you can see, just like Rakesh showed us earlier, you see the title of the invention, you see the name of the inventor, the year, if they're claiming priority, you see everything here. So that if by chance somebody wants to probably license your application, they are able to connect you and get all your details without going helter-skelter. So I think that'll be my slide, basically. Thank you. So we'll take questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amosa, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you to Mr. Rakesh and also to Ms. Amosa for sharing their very, very wonderful presentation with us. So now we are taking questions. From everything that's been said, so much has been said in light of the topics from coming from last week and also into this week. Do we have particular questions that we may have as regards this? Okay, I think I can see a question in the chat box from Nigus. Nigus is asking a few questions here. Okay, and the first question is how are licensees able to reduce costs on R and D? Um, okay, I don't particularly know what R and Ds are, but I'm sure maybe do our mentors have
Research and development.
the research and development. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. Please, can you help us with that question? How are
So
licensees able to reduce the cost of research and
So
development?
what we usually do is, or when we say one of the benefits of patent is for you to be able to, kind of make that money you use in inventing, right? So just like Rakesh mentioned, you have to know why you are actually doing this. So for example, from our own side, I work in the research institute, right? So normally the institute will always put money, the researchers will work on the invention. So when you do all of these things, so much money goes into the research and development. Now, the thing is, if you want to make this money back, the only way you can make that money is by monetizing that invention, by working the invention. And one of the ways you can work your invention is by licensing. So when you license, definitely you get probably royalties. They're going to pay you. They're going to pay you for whatever it is you're licensing. And in your licensing agreement, you are going to state how they can use it, in what jurisdiction, what can they sub-license, can they do this, can they do that? So all those contracts or all those clauses will be there. But the main thing is that you are going to get or make your money. Now you want to determine what kind of license you want to do. Are you doing an exclusive license, a non-exclusive license, a sole license, or a cross-licensing? You want to know what type of licensing you are doing. But the main issue about licensing is you want to make money, basically. But how do you want to make this money? Do you want to license it to just one person? That's exclusive licensing. Do you want to license it to so many people? That's non-exclusive. Do you want to do sole licensing? Sole licensing means it's just you and the person you are licensing to that can use it, unlike exclusive. Exclusive is only the person you are licensing to that can use it. Even you that owns it, you can't use it. Okay, so you want to know what kind of licensing you are doing, what are the details of the licensing, can they do, or let's say you want to license to somebody in Nigeria, you want to license somebody in Ghana, you want to license somebody in US. In that case, you're going to do a non-exclusive license so that all of these people are able to use this invention, and what you get in return, probably a royalty or something, but you will get money at the end of the day. Okay? So the licensing is not actually going to reduce cost. It's going to help you make the money you've spent back. It might not be everything, but at least you make a very good amount. Does that answer your question? I don't know if Rakesh would like to shed more light on that.
Okay, Mr. Rakesh, do you have any contribution on that particular question?
For licensing, actually, Amosa has given very detailed and valuable explanation. Like licensing has no direct correlation because licensing is just for generating the revenue, and R&D is something different. But if I just understood the question in some different manner, suppose you have licensing for few of the patents, but still you are developing some new technologies by using the existing technologies. So for that research and development, for developing new products or new technologies, if that is the scenario, then for reducing the cost, you can consider multiple parameters like understanding the your technological portfolio, as well as knowing the technological portfolio and landscape of your competitors and market requirement, because understanding the end user or the customers who are going to use your invention is very much critical. So by having knowing yourself, your competitor and market, you can steer the direction of your research and development in very fine manner. And if that direction is clear, you are producing what is in high demand in the market, then accordingly your R&D will be very useful at very less cost. But if R&D is just producing something which is having no value or demand, then cost on R&D, or R&D is just making efforts haywire without knowing the competitors, their landscape, and not building your own consistent landscape, then you will end up in just spending money and getting nothing.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh. Okay,
I
I
would
think
like to add, one more
please
thing.
go ahead.
So just like answer the question like Rakesh did, our licensing able to reduce cost on R&D. If you are trying to look at reducing costs, let's say, for example, you can either license in or license out. So if you're licensing in, that means you are spending money because you are licensing somebody else's invention in, you have to pay the person money. If you're licensing out, it means it's someone that is going to pay you money. But if you are cross-licensing, in most cases, it depends on the kind of agreement you have. If you are doing cross-license, it means you are giving somebody else your patents to use, and somebody else also giving you their patent to use. In this regard, you might be able to reduce cost on R&D, depending on the agreement you have. If your agreement is, okay, we are not going to pay each other money, we'll just cross-license and use each other patent invention. So let's say my company is an R&D company and I'm working on a particular invention, right? But I also need another invention to make my invention work better. And I have another one that I can cross-license with somebody else. So I can say, okay, I need this particular invention, and I know you also need mine. So I give you mine, you give me yours. So I use the one you give me to now work on my R&D. Because we've done cross-licensing, I don't need to spend money to get that particular patent again. Do you understand? So that's another way we can go about it, cross-licensing.
Very beautiful explanation, Amosa.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Amosa. The second question here is on drawings, is it possible to include mathematical and chemical formulas for all countries? Mr. Rakesh, do you have any contribution or do you have any explanation to give on this point?
Yes, we can include drawings as well as mathematical equations in the patent drawings. And patent drawings have some specific set of rules for each and every country. For US, I have seen many patent applications which have these mathematical formulas, and chemical I have less exposure, but I have seen many equations, especially for every patent. These equations or formulas should be aligned with some practical applications which you can explain in the detailed description, but in drawings you can specify these tabular form formulas as well as the experiments, results of experiments, indicating all the best modes, everything you can define. And you can check for, like, for example, if I have to give for HEVC, high efficiency video coding patents, you might end up with each and every alternative patent with lot more mathematical formulas. And sometimes these equations are not specifically written only in the drawings, because drawings are just to convey the method or the system arrangement. So we can include those equations in the specification, like detailed description. We can write it like we used to write in the research papers, or in tabular form, or in between the lines whenever we are writing the detailed description. But explicitly, we need to showcase the mathematical equations in the drawings, because drawings are also something which conveys the novel aspects of the invention. So if it is so these drawings should be conveying a storyline in terms of the different components, different steps.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh. Our third question here is what is the difference between...
Dennis, I would like to say something on that.
Oh, okay,
so
please
that
go ahead.
the mentees don't get it confused. So remember in our first class, we mentioned that mathematical formula cannot be patented. So don't take the answers wrong. Now, if you have an invention that has a patentable subject matter, however, there is a mathematical formula that helps this invention to work better, then this is where you can include the mathematical formula in your drawing, but not you patenting a mathematical formula and including that formula as a drawing. Okay, the mathematical formula is something that is helping your invention. Maybe you need to calculate one or two things and you want to put the Newton law of motion or Newton this and that, on how to calculate this and that to arrive at the inventive step, or what exactly is making it inventive, not just you patenting a mathematical formula and so on. Then for chemical formula, the same thing goes. Let's assume you want to find a way to hydrate water from salt, and maybe you are doing probably a saponification or so. Then you want to show the chemical formula, how the H2O is mixing with this and that to remove the water, and how it's being dehydrated. All of that can be included in the chemical formula, but you have to make sure that this thing you are putting in the drawing is in the background, just like Rakesh has said, because your background has to speak to whatever it is you are doing. It should not be in isolation. So I'm just going to add that.
I would like to just add one more point.
All right,
For
please go
mathemat
ahead, Mr. Pesh.
Yeah, for mathematical formulas, writing down only the mathematical formula in the drawings might be problematic, but I would recommend it to write it in the detailed description when you are explaining all the drawings. So in the drawings part, for that mathematical formula, it is always advisable to have a block diagram where you can specify the different stages where all those equations or the different stages how those formulas are being applicable. Suppose you have some formula related to encoding and decoding, so you can simply have a block diagram where you can say that information is being received and we are applying in one particular block diagram, we are encoding that information and it is being transformed into new type of information. So in that way, you can specify the process and you can write down exact details of that mathematical in the detailed description.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rakesh and Mrs. Amusa, for helping us run through the second question on mathematical formulas and chemical formulas being included on drawings. Our third question here is what are the difference between summaries and abstracts? Because abstracts is also a summary, because abstracts is also a summary. So, are there any difference, Mr. Rakesh? Do you feel like there are any difference between summaries and abstracts?
Yeah, actually, abstract is only talking about the independent claim, which we have just written it down. It is the mirror image of the independent claim. So it includes the novel aspects which we are defining in the independent claim itself. But summary includes the summary part of all the claims as well as it includes the technical advantages and different embodiments. So this is the basic difference.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Ms. Amusa, do you have anything to add? You would like to add, ma?
No, I don't. I think Rakesh has answered it beautifully.
Oh, all right. So, okay, I think the last question here is can we be 100% sure that our invention is original with a patent search? If not, how much can we be sure? Ms. Amusa, do you have anything to say on this?
I think I mentioned something like this while I was presenting earlier, that the fact that you do a patent search doesn't guarantee that your patent search, that your application will be granted, but it gives you a probability to say, okay, at least you are sure you've done your own assignment, right? So you have a kind of maybe 60-50% probability, but you know that, okay, you've done prior act search, and at least you can say that you've done a good job. Even if the examiner kind of rejects it, you can still appeal and say, oh, look, this is the prior act I found, this is that. But when you don't even do it at all, then you can't even defend yourself in the first place. Okay? So it's not 100% guarantee, but it's good for you to do it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Amosa, for helping us answer that question. I'm sure, Nigus, you've gotten the answers to all your questions. Thank you so much for sending in those questions. Okay, Mr. Rakesh, do you have anything to add, sir?
Yeah, for the last one, what I have seen for the people who are working in the patents domain, like the subject matter experts or the attorneys who are working for more than like 1 decade or 2 or 3 decades only in one technology domain, they can guarantee multiple times because they know their technology portfolio with so much depth as well as their competitors. So they have developed that kind of expertise. Not everyone, but I have seen few people like this. So they can give the guarantee, but it always depends on the subject matter expertise of the person who is dealing with the patentability. That they can quickly give you the insights that whether your idea is unique or it would have some kind of prior art rejections based on the expertise somebody has developed in one technology domain over last few decades.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh. Nigus, I'm sure you were able to get quite a number of answers to your questions, and our mentors were able to give proper perspective to those questions. Okay, I think with that, we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you, Negus, for staying up to this point. I'm sure, okay, I think a few other mentees made mention that they were having a little issue connecting to the session. So I'm sure that they are also trying to stream, or they are currently also streaming the session on YouTube. So with this, we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh and Ms. Amosa, for being here with us and for helping us run through today's program and today's class. It has been a wonderful and a very, very insightful session. So much learned on the aspects of patent search and also drafting a patent. So we thank you for sparing your time, your knowledge, and your energy to be here with us. We look forward to having you in our next session. Also, we look forward to having more mentees in our next session, and also more presentations and better interactions from the sides of our mentees. Before we go, I would just like us, for those who have proper lighting in their background, if you can just help us turn your on your video camera so that we can take a quick picture and call it a night. So, Nigos, if that's possible, can you help turn on your video so that we can take a picture? Mr. Rakesh, sir, would just like to ask for that. Thank you very much.
Give me a second, actually.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh. Okay. All right. We're done with our picture section. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Nigos, and thank you, Miss Amosa, for being here on call. I'm sure we would have a more timely and more accurate um, a more time a more time accurate session next in the next class. We're sorry for the little issues we had with the timing. We'll do well. We'll make sure to do well to send new calendar invites to our mentors to address the current change in time that we had, so that there are no issues as regarding the particular time for the session. So I wish everyone a wonderful night rest. Please do all enjoy the rest of your evening. Good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
Dennis.
Yes.
Nichols, what country are you from?
I come from Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yes.
Well done.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Okay, bye. Good night.
Everyone, good night.